Welcome back to History and Mystery. I feel like it's been a while since I've been right here. I've been filming in different areas, so it's nice to be back. Today we're going to talk a little more about Henry Deland, the founder of Deland, Florida, because I have just recently learned some super cool things about his life, and one person in particular who he has a connection to, who everybody has heard of. There is not a person in this world who has not heard of this person. So we will get there. Let's dive in. One thing that doesn't have anything to do with his life that I thought was really cool is his mom's name is Electra. Like, how cool is that? That's such a badass name. Anyways, when Henry Deland came to the area, it was called Persimmon Hollow, and it had a total occupancy number of 23 people, I believe. I personally think Persimmon Hollow is a much more charming name than Deland. Maybe we should have stuck with that. But I think it's so neat how all over Deland, people still hold on to the history of it. Like, there is a brewery right in the middle of the historic downtown strip called Persimmon Hollow. It's really cool. If you haven't been there, I would recommend checking it out. And right down the road from there is a theater called the Athens Theater, which I have been to several times, which is also an amazing experience. And a quote that Henry Deland said was he wanted to make this town the Athens of Florida. And so I think that's just really cool that there's two places named after the very beginnings. Deland is the home of Stetson University, which started out as Deland Academy until he persuaded his millionaire friend, John Stetson, to invest. Something else that I just learned that never clicked for me was the Stetson mascot is a hat. They're called the Hatters. And John Stetson was a hatter. Yeah. He made hats for a living. His story was actually really cool. I might have to do his own episode because of just his beginnings. He was deathly ill as a child. He didn't think he was going to make it. So he just went off and lived his life the way he wanted to, traveling, and then got better and came back and took over his father's hat making business, and became really wealthy that way, hence being a millionaire. Anyways, we're talking about Henry Deland here. Get with it. So Henry and John knew each other, and Henry Deland got John Stetson to invest in that university and the town. Another side detour really quick. Sorry about all these detours. Follow me. Stick with me if you can. The last time I mentioned a college was in my video from last week, my St. Augustine video. I talked about Flagler College. And I just said some pretty generalized statements that it was one of the more expensive colleges in Florida, which it is. You can just Google it. I had to end up blocking somebody who became pretty hostile. So I just want to say, let's keep it kind. I will not tolerate harassment or racist comments of any kind. Just wanted to get that out there. From here on out, we are going to be kind to one another in the comment section. Back to your regular program. I think this is really remarkable. Henry was friends with John Stetson, which we already said. Stetson had a little friend. This friend goes by the name of Thomas Edison. Yes, he was friends with Thomas Edison himself, who came to Deland and brought electricity to this area of Florida. Deland was the very first city in the whole state of Florida to receive electricity. Henry Deland never made a home here for himself. He had a place to stay, but he never made his living home here. John Stetson did. He built himself a mansion, Stetson Mansion. It's on the National Historic Places, the list. He brought the very first electric generator to Deland to power his winter mansion. And that makes it one of the first houses, mansions in Florida to be designed around Edison electricity. With the vision of potential and development forward minds, these three men, and a bit of wealth, these three men brought electricity to Deland, Florida. And then in 1888, we had electricity on the streets. And that might have just been a few street lamps, but that is a huge accomplishment. And that really set the tone for development and progress around the rest of the state. If you know any really cool facts about the town you're in, let me know. I would love to hear. Or if you know something, if you're around this area and you know something about DeLand, I would love to learn more about it. Something else I've been in the mood for is a mystery. If you have a mystery that I should read about, any recommendations, I would love to hear all of those recommendations. Leave them in the comments, please. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on History and Mystery. I will see you next time.